Hi, chosen few expats. Welcome back. If you're new to our channel, thank you for joining us. When moving abroad, and in our case to Panama, one of the questions that we often get and you all have been asking is, can I get a job in Panama? What kind of work is there in Panama? Well, these are the questions we're going to answer for you in this video. So when one moves abroad and says, can I get a job in Panama? What kind of jobs are there in Panama? What kind of work is there in Panama? The first thing you have to look at is how can you go about working or obtaining that job legally? So you have to look into getting a work permit because it works much the same way in Panama or any other country that you're moving to as it does for when people move to the US. It's can they work legally? So there's about 15 different ways that you're going to get a work permit. We can cover that in another video, but for the purposes of this video, we're going to assume that you already have a work permit. So the good news when it comes to working in Panama is that there are 147 multinational companies in Panama. I mean, you have Dell, GE, Nestle, several big name companies that are established. Panama City, as you saw in our previous videos, is a major metropolitan city. So there is a lot of companies. There are a lot of companies there. So that's the good news. Okay, the bad news is that Panama is basically not a first world country. It's not what I would call a third world country. It's what I would call a developing country, but therefore the salaries kind of coincide with that. So the average salary in Panama is about $800 a month across the nation. Now in the city, because it's the city, you maybe get double that, and that would be considered a really, really good salary. So you can still make it, if you live modestly, but you're not going to get the kind of wages that you used to in the US, Canada, or Europe. So the best option that you can get, the first best option is to have a company, a US company, to send you to Panama as an expat. That way you can maintain your US salary and, you can maintain even better than the standard living that you have right now because the cost of living is much less expensive. But it's going to be very difficult to get a company to do that because if they can find some local talent, then, maybe not as good as you, but, for a lot cheaper price, they're going to prefer to go that route. But if you can work that would be a great option. The other thing you have to keep in mind, as we mentioned in our past videos, and Why Move to Panama Part 2, for example, is that companies can only hire 10% of their workforce to be foreigners. And part of that competition that you're going to have is that people coming in from Venezuela, because of the situation in Venezuela, there's a lot of immigrants coming in. Those are also great people, but the one advantage that they have is that they are Spanish speakers. Okay, so in Panama, the language is Spanish. About 80% of the people do speak Spanish unless they work like in restaurants, major hotels. Now, most of those people are going to be Spanish speakers. So Venezuelans will have that advantage over you. So company maybe prefer to go that route over hiring you. So really, the best bet that you have as far as maintaining an income stream in Panama is to come with your money. Try to establish some type of e-commerce business or online business, as we mentioned in other videos. The e-commerce sector is exploding. You guys seen record number of sales here from Amazon. So it would be great for you to start some type of online business now that you can establish before even coming to Panama, and that way your money comes with you. And then also the Panamanian government will not tax that money because that money is made outside of Panama. So if you can have your business in the United States, you just operating it remotely online from Panama. Panama does not tax that income. Now, if you already have a business, and I know some of you do, one thing you may want to look into is to try to find like a third-party fulfillment partner. So I know a lot of you have your own websites. You maybe ship your own product to a customer when your product, when the orders come in, but you're not going to physically be in the U.S. to be able to do that. So unless you have a relative or someone that is willing to do it for you, you're really going to need to set up some type of third-party fulfillment. So you can do that through Amazon Fulfillment by Amazon, Amazon FBA. You can sign up through them, Amazon Seller Central. There's also other companies that do this. There's a company called Shipbob. We have an affiliate link in the description below if you want to check them out to get a quote. It doesn't cost you anything, and you can ship them your product. They'll hold on to it for you. they can link to your website or to Etsy, load in your product files. Then when you get an order, they see it, and then they'll ship it to your customers for you. So that would be a great way to keep your business going while you're in Panama. You can also ship your product back to the US, but of course that's going to cost you a little bit. You probably lose a few dollars per product on the shipping cost to ship back to the United States to get that product into inventory. So the best thing to do would be to build up that inventory before you leave and ship it to one of your third-party fulfillment partners. Like I said, if you don't already have an online business, best thing to do is start one right now. You know, there are several jobs that you can do online. There's a website called Fiverr, and we also have our affiliate link for them below in the description. So you can look up several jobs on Fiverr, everything from graphic design. You can do copywriting. People are hiring a bunch of people for a bunch of different freelance type of jobs, and you can make money doing that. I mean, you can also make money, of course, as people know, being a teacher. So we're going to also have affiliate links down in the description for the teaching certification. TESOL and VIP Kid is another popular company that hires people to teach online. You just have to get up in the middle of the night because more than likely you'll be teaching kids in China. But there's a countless number of ways to earn money online. Those are just a few examples. We're going to go into a detailed video on that coming up within the next 1 or 2 videos. Very, very detailed job descriptions, 40 or 50 different types of jobs that you can do online. So really what you're going to have to do in most cases is kind of step out of the box. Like I said, I'm an engineer. An engineer is not on the list of jobs that foreigners can work in Panama. So we have the list here of jobs. There's about 25 jobs that foreigners are typically not allowed to work in Panama. There may be a way or an angle around that. I'm still investigating that. As a part of your as a part of your permanent residency visa process, you do have to set up a Panama corporation. And as I also mentioned in a previous video, is that corporation for most people is just an in name only, kind of a bogus setup. But if you did want to establish a real business with that, then you could. So in my case as an engineer, if I want to do some engineering consulting work set up through my company as opposed to another company hiring me, and then if I'm going to also be hiring some Panamanians, say if I'm going to have 10 employees and 10% of those employees can be foreigners, and I'm hiring pretty much Panamanians, I don't really see the government having an issue with that because that's helping the people and helping the economy. But you really need to discuss that particular situation with an immigration lawyer or someone who's more of an expert on the topic. That's one thing that I'm still investigating as a potential loophole to that. But for the most part, you're probably going to have to count on stepping outside of your boundaries, step out of your comfort zone, as I've had to do. Because like I said, you couldn't have told me, 3 years ago that I'd be designing clothes, selling clothes, purchasing essential oils to make holy anointing oil, and also doing these YouTube videos. Couldn't have told me I'd be doing anything like this. As far as learning how to shoot a video, which as y'all can tell, it still needs a lot of work. Had a couple of audio issues and stuff, in a couple of these videos. But the point is that I'm still learning. It's a new skill, but I'm still learning, when it comes to editing videos. These are all things that once you learn these types of skills on a website like Fiverr or Flexjobs, there are people out there that hire folks to do that type of work. There's a lot of YouTubers out there, much bigger YouTubers than ourselves, that will hire people to do that work for them, to create their YouTube thumbnails, because they're just more or less too busy. Their channels have grown really, really large, and so they farm a lot of that work out. So if you're into like graphic design, web design, all these types of things, you can find work. You just have to really just push yourself and step out of your comfort zone. You just really have to go for it. Learn a new skill and, diversify your streams of income, as you've heard people say, because, hey, every little bit counts. If you get a little bit coming in from here, a little bit coming in from there, so every little bit counts. You just have to really do some investigating. Stay tuned for for the next video, like I said, that's coming up, that we're going to go into detail on all of these various jobs that are out there that you can do starting right now. You don't have to wait. As a matter of fact, we don't recommend that you wait until moving. We recommend that you start working on these income streams, online e-commerce streams right now, and that way you can take that with you when you leave the country. So there's an article from International Living that basically says that there's 50 different jobs. The article is titled 50 different ways to make money in retirement. But of course, it doesn't apply to just retirees. It applies to pretty much anyone in terms of different ways you can make money. I mean, you can send your pictures into Shutterfly, get those as stock photos, and if people download them, they'll pay for those. That's a steady stream of income. If you got some really, really great pictures or video clips, I mean, when you start looking at it, there are a number of different ways to make income. And what you have to keep in mind is that you don't need as much to live on in a country like Panama as you do in the United States. I mean, we're out here busting it every day, and we make, we're making some decent money, but look at how much of it is going out the door. So you have to keep in mind that you don't need as much to live on, And then what you also have to look at is your take-home pay and the fact that Panama would not be taxing that income if you got an online business. So we just wanted to give you some insight on that. So if you're coming down with the idea that you're just going to work in Panama, yeah, you can do it, but you got to be expecting to make significantly less income, even though you can still make it because the cost of living is so low. I mean, like we covered in our Why Move to Panama Part 1 video, you can get a house in the mountain for $350, $400 a month. You can get houses in cities like Arion and Chirera for $400, $450, $500 a month, 3-bedroom, 4-bedroom houses. So, I mean, you can still make it, but you just have to expect to be making significantly less income, and just understand that just finding a job, just the process of getting the work permit and finding a job is going to be more difficult. But like I said, don't be discouraged because there are a lot of ways that you can earn income. And we're going to be covering, like I said, 15 ways to get a work permit if you are still interested in that. And we will also be covering more detail on these different types of jobs that you can earn money online. Question of the day. What skill sets do you have that you're not currently utilizing that you could monetize to earn money online when living abroad? And then also, what new skill sets would you be interested in learning that you could monetize and make money while living abroad? Let us know in the comments down below. So thank you all. Please hit the subscribe button, give us a thumbs up if you like our content, and ring the notification bell so you can be notified of our future videos.